So a good friend of mine was her name was Kelsey Hall, and she was the head of Divest for a while, and she kind of got me into it, and I just started to become friends with the people in Divest, and then slowly as I learned more, I became more interested in it, and also it takes like kind of a structural outlook on change, and that's more where my interests lie. Divestment is the opposite of an investment. It basically means removing your money from a certain type of asset. So you can divest from anything. You can divest from firearms, tobacco, apartheid. We just have a focus on fossil fuels because it kind of intertwines environmentalism and human rights. And so we strictly look at fossil fuels for now. I'm an admin liaison, so basically I just interact with administration. And also I interact with our portfolio managers so that we learn more about what's going on with our assets. We advocate for UNC Asheville to remove our endowment from fossil fuel investments, which means that portions of your tuition and other parts of the university's financials go into a portfolio that invests in fossil fuels, and we have 10% divested of that, but we want the other 90%. The administration is pretty collaborative with us. They're pretty understanding of our wants, and right now we're waiting on some returns from the 10% that have been divested. Once those returns are confirmed to match the other 90%, basically make the same profit that the other 90% do, which is managed by UNC Management Company. If we can compare those returns and get like pretty fair comparisons, the next step would be honestly just talking to administration and saying, look, we have this divestment that's working and still making money, so let's do the next 90. And then if they deny that request, then we'll have some direct action, protests, banner drops, student letter writing campaigns, and that kind of thing. It's important to me because I think there's a lot of hidden funders of climate change. The climate crisis is impending doom for everyone on the planet, but more importantly, disproportionately for certain marginalized communities and countries. So to me, divestment is a way of attacking environmentalism in a way that prioritizes equity and justice. And it also is a way to make like big change, structural change, systemic change in ways that people might not even know about. We were the first school in the system to divest anything in like the UNC system. So being the first, we're trailblazers in that regard, but I think the biggest accomplishment would be 100% divestment. And we've also had some great work with collaborating with other green groups on campus like FEI, Sunrise Movement, ASH. And so I'm really proud of the network we've created and the way that we've kind of lifted each other up on campus. That's kind of a keystone of divest mentality. So we have a climate action plan that's part of the carbon commitment, which is the goal to be carbon neutral by 2050. I think that divestment should be part of that climate action plan. I think that's going to be an important step for the university. I also think that the university should be more transparent about their funds. And then I also think that UNCA Divest as a group just needs more people. We need especially younger students to hop on board, to do the work and learn about what's happening, because right now 2 out of 3 of us are going to graduate, and then the other third graduates in a year. So really we just need more people to understand the issue. I would say UNCA does a pretty good job on sustainability, but there is a lot of room for improvement. We do a lot of the small, like low-hanging fruit things. We have some of the bigger projects like solar panels and geothermal heating on the quad. We have these pretty significant changes that the university has made. However, I think that we're still behind on the kind of systemic side. I think that we're a little bit behind in terms of the way that we use our money and create community. I think that there's a lot of room for equity and inclusion in that, and I think there's a lot of room for environmental justice. That UNCA focuses on sustainability, which is a little bit different than environmental justice, and I think we could incorporate more of that justice aspect a lot better. There's still a lot of work to be done. Like, for example, Harvard just divested something like a $42 million endowment. And I think that is a much bigger step. And if we're such a small school, we should be able to make that step too. So in the grand scheme of things, I think we're somewhere in the middle between doing no sustainability work and being complete trailblazers. So yeah, we're doing okay. Mm-hmm. We have meetings every other Sunday. They're virtual. They're never longer than 30 minutes. The best thing I would say is follow our Instagram at unca.divest. And then reach out to me or Julia Weber or Rachel Robinson to learn more about divestment. We really, it has kind of, it's a little bit inaccessible at first, but once you start to understand the nuances of divestment, you will start to see it everywhere in like your individual banking, schools banking, your pension fund managers. So it's kind of everywhere. So you can take individual action, institutional action, and you can just learn more from UNCA's meetings. The path forward to ending the climate crisis may be more complicated than you think it is, but by getting into that nuance and getting into the complexity of it, you are then able to make really big change. And I think also that individualism and individual actions are not the only way to combat the climate crisis, that you can make like large scale change with your community and with a community that you feel loved and connected with.